So if you're watching this after the fact, you come in, you want to see these faces when you can't make it live, which we understand. We are just waiting a few moments for people to come in. What we do is read live fiction at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday for a while. We're going to keep doing that. And then when we're done, we have to quit that instance, pop back in to the new, switch instances and come in for deep cuts. So it's its own separate video on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. So when we start that up, it takes people like Cobalt a minute to catch up with us. And we are going to, wait a second. So we're just going to jibber jab. So if you want to fast forward 30 seconds, 60 seconds, we might get to what we're doing. But you know what? Look at us. Look at us.
Who'd have thought?
We're devilishly handsome.
Who'd have thought?
Devilishly.
Not
Should
me.
stare at our mugs for quite some time. Recluse Mage, back in the house. John Bivens, cheers, back in the house. Dr. Campbell's back in the house.
You guys are so good to us. Thank you so much for joining.
I know, I don't know how to fix this.
Jenna Leovitch, so good to see you too.
Chris Grell is back.
Yeah, Chris Grell. Oh, you know I love you.
Don't know how to fix this other than us switching to 2 separate nights. We already put in a lot of work, you guys, and us getting to spend time together at night hanging out. It's kind of few and far between. I'm working on it really hard, but it's just so many irons in the fire.
What is that?
It's a resolution issue.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, is that Facebook, huh?
Yeah, you guys on Facebook, let me know if the resolution is fuzzy or if it's just my computer. It's possible it's just my computer. Robert Brisson, very nice to be back with you.
It's like streaming takes a minute to catch up.
Twitch says, and A picked up an echo in the intervening break.
What?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
It looks like your pal Ryan Minto is in the...
Ryan Minto's in the house. What's up, Ryan Minto? Yeah. Ryan was a whoop-ass baseball player back in the day. So A and I were just watching, we watched Moneyball clips a bunch. Yeah. For some reason, we're watching a bunch of Moneyball clips on YouTube. And every time I watch Moneyball, I think of Ryan Minto.
Recluse Mage is saying we both have echo now.
Okay.
Why don't you put us back on main so I can talk to them while you do whatever?
Okay, I don't know what that's all about.
So while he works on that.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
You got it?
Should be gone.
Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yep, no echo on YouTube. Little bit of echo. Volume is now blasting too, according to David Lamb. Maybe this has fixed this. You guys are a few moments behind us.
Let's bring this down a little bit.
Now it's perfect. That got it.
Okay, I'm bringing the volume down a smidge.
No, you did it. I did it.
Okay. Yeah. Lovely.
You guys don't get to hear that I broke a whole jar of hoisin sauce on our carpet.
Hoisin sauce.
It was.
There's hoisin footprints all over the entire fucking house, you guys.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
And the entire house smells like Chinese takeout. The whole house.
Which is a good smell.
Yeah, we're lucky it's a good smell because we're going to live with it for the next couple of days
until
the
weekend.
Weekend.
Sean says A's quieter as a result. That's just because, okay.
Oh, what about
Sean,
now?
what do you think now? Actually, let's go to...
Daryl Harris, very nice to see you as well. Dr. Campbell, very nice. Thank you all for all of the feedback. Yeah, Recluse Mage, it's not coming out easily. I have washed that... it's like a 3-foot square area of carpet at the bottom of our stairs.
You should sound good now.
Okay.
You should sound equal to me.
Yeah.
As if there could be an equal to me, though.
I mean, of course not. However, I have tried now 3 times washing it. I think it's at least less sticky. But goodness gracious.
I'm going to try and tug you. There you go. Now, is that in your way? Can you just put that mic to match? Now we're in good shape. There we go. Okay, you ready?
But goodness gracious, was it a challenge? Is it a challenge?
Hoisin.
This has been his major contribution, is this. Hoisin.
Hoisin. No, we think it's good. We think it's good.
Yeah,
it's carpet, Jack. Of course, it's fucking carpet. It's all soaked in there.
Yeah, it is absolutely carpet. It is not only carpet, it's on our back stairs that go to the garage. So it's like utilitarian carpet. It's that like low loop industrial carpet. And Lord's sakes, man, the whole house smells like Chinese takeout. The whole house, and every floor is sticky.
However, on the plus side, we're absolutely getting fucking Chinese takeout tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, Jack. Yeah, contractor grade. Yes, it's just that, and they're utility stairs, so it's fine. Hopefully.
You ready to put on our show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we will never have to speak of this again.
All right. Let me get Logic up. Start recording.
God forbid a cat pukes. Exactly.
Okay, hold on a second. Don't say anything for a second. La, 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 la. You.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Just try. You stay.
La, la,
there you go. No, it's not. It's not that. It's you're picking up on mine. But Steve should be able to handle that, no problem.
La 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 la.
Perfect.
La, la.
Okay, good. Are you comfortable saying that way? Do you want to
Well, because you moved me closer to you, but we've been trying to do this where my microphone faces away from
good,
you.
Good. You look gorgeous. It's fine.
Thanks.
We're good.
I'm cute.
You're very cute. Okay, let's get into it. You ready?
I am.
We are actually recording right now. Let me get the script up.
Steve, you're going to have to cut a lot of that out, but that's okay. You have to cut out
he just
a
chops his
lot
shit.
of the stuff
He knows
from today's
the fuck
live
he's
recording
doing.
too. So
You know what the fuck he's doing. Let's go to okay, it is time for deep cuts. This has nothing to do with the stories, but we're going to get into it. This is going to be very, very fun. No graphics for you all today, just all of our voices. You ready, sweetheart?
I am.
Writing can be a lonely job. I create stories I hope you guys will love as I sit alone in my office, pining away, wishing for some form of human connection. I have consultants galore. I'm a lucky writer in that way, but still mostly work by myself. So it's always fun to see what has resonated with the readers out there in the world when they consume one of my brilliant creations.
Of course, of course. And with Crypt VOIDSTRIKE coming out 2 weeks from yesterday, we wanted to talk about some of the things that readers have highlighted in the ebook for Crypt SHAKEDOwn, because they were interesting to us. They were unusual to us, and we thought you might like to know. And we will talk about all of that right after this quick break.
Great. Question. Do you hear yourself nose breathing when you're in that close?
Nope.
That's what I push you back for. I was like,
Oh, okay, good. Yep, sorry.
it's like
Darth
it's like,
Vader.
It's more like Hannibal Lecter, like, fly, fly away, Khalees. Fly, fly away, starling. Fly, fly, fly.
That is definitely sausage. So since this will all be cut out, I will say, Dawn Shipley, thank you for that recommendation. I will take all the recommendations I can.
Ready?
I am.
Okay. Welcome to Deep Cuts, the bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices fiction podcast, where a sci-fi author and an audiobook narrator discuss things and stuff in the world of fiction and pop culture. I am Scott Sigler, sci-fi horror author known far and wide as the future dark overlord.
And I am A.B. Sigler, audiobook narrator and publisher at Empty Set Entertainment. And tonight, we chat about the most highlighted sections of Crypt SHAKEDOwn from the ebook.
A bonus reminder, this is a bonus episode in the Scott Sigler Slices podcast feed. It's not part of any particular story. You don't have to listen to this to keep up on the current tale we are telling, but we hope you'll dig this peek behind the storyteller curtain.
Absolutely. Let's get into it, baby. This is such a fun idea. And I didn't even know until earlier this week that this is a thing. So if you are an ebook reader and for your own purposes, just like you did with the with your paper books, if you highlight any segments or make notes or whatever, that is actually part of the document. And that is a thing that we on the publisher side can see. We can't see, I don't think we can see who did it. We can just see that 5 people did this, 7 people did this, 20 people did this.
Unless you write something bad, and then I will find you.
Yeah, but we can't see who said it, but we can see if there were some segments of an ebook that were routinely and repeatedly highlighted. And that's the thing we're going to talk about tonight, because it kind of surprised us. The things that people highlighted, whoever in the world read this book highlighted, surprised us a little bit. So here we go.
It's super fun. So we're going to rip right through it. So some of these are just funny because I try and include a lot of humor, often very crass humor. I don't know if Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, is in the room, but he's one of the guys I grew up with, and Rob Otto's one of the guys I grew up with, and they have potty mouths. They're very uncivilized, rude individuals. So I try and cater to them with the funny stuff.
I also actually think he's being lighthearted here, but I actually think this is an interesting note about the most highlighted segments, because wherever you are in the world, when you are reading an ebook, that is a private thing you're doing. If you are
Yep.
physically reading an ebook, that is something that happens between you and whatever you're reading on. And I know my husband is a Midwesterner, and he is wildly polite. He is wildly formal. He will call every Uber driver sir.
Correct.
He will say, thank you for coming out tonight, all
Correct.
that stuff. He's
Yes.
very Midwestern in this way.
Yes.
And yet he writes that potty humor because that is in those private social moments, like when he's not on, he's absolutely loves a fart joke. And that's what we see here. Right. Well, exactly. But Midwesterners don't do that in public. They do that in private. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. And it's super fun.
Okay. So, and on the other hand, as someone who has written books for a very long time and waxes philosophical at times, and not only do I have takes on things, when characters have takes on things and various hot button issues, it instantly moves the character from this is just a person that are black marks on white page that I'm seeing. And at this point in my career, I'm pretty much able to reach into your head and trip triggers and make you like or dislike or argue with in your head a character. So some of these more philosophical or even political approaches are meant to hit your hot buttons because at that point, Anne Lafferty stops being a character and becomes a person that you either agree with or you disagree with. So a lot of the deeper stuff in here, there's some of me, but it's the character is not the author.
And before you jump into the actual character things that people have highlighted, I want to say that we have seen this without knowing this feature existed. We have seen this many times in Scott's career. We got so many emails about the first chapter of Pandemic. And if you can't remember what that is, feel free to go look it up. But people had
incensed.
Some people were incensed. Some people were in love. There was every spectrum of emotion about that first chapter. And it taught us that you need it, that everyone, us included, need a little hook to get invested in a character.
Yeah.
At least it taught me. He already knew, obviously, because he wrote it. But that was when I saw that. And that was when what Pandemic was 2014, I think.
2015. It's because.
But we definitely saw it there.
I get slagged so much in reviews from very conservative people because a huge portion of the book takes place in the Trump Tower. And people automatically assume I'm shitting on Trump. And this whole book was not only written before he rode down the golden escalator, it was published and in the marketplace before he did that.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. So, but when you have that visceral, emotional, logical reaction against something that's in a book, I have done my job right, and I have manipulated your psychology in order, and all of a sudden that character's real, and then I got you.
So just a couple of notes from the chat room. Cobalt says, that means you're good, Scott.
Yep.
Recluse Mage says, reading it after an actual pandemic was mind-blowing. I agree with you. And Cobalt says the thing that is the important thing here. Pulling an emotion out of you when you're static and reading an ebook or a physical book or listening to an audiobook even, and making that visceral for you changes everything. And if that's good or bad, it still changes everything. So let's begin.
So the first note of the most highlighted notes in the Crypt Shakedown, which is book 1 of the Crypt series, chapter 2, Anne Lafferty's thoughts on religion. So I had to preface all that explanation, like the character is not the author, and my job is to get in your noggin and make a thing real, because right off the bat, the most highlighted thing is a very, very hot button issue.
Yeah.
Anne Lafferty's thoughts on religions. Religions all started out the same. A bunch of losers thinking they were victims of an endless and unfair persecution at the hands of them, the powers that be, and could never figure out how every group of chosen people believed in an all-powerful god or gods, yet those same deities couldn't protect said group. No, the group always had to run like bitches. In church terms, that was called an exodus and was the stuff of glory, destiny, and all that chosen people crap. And that's important because a huge part of the Sigler-verse continuity involves the Purist Nation. Quentin Barnes of the GFL series is a native of the Purist Nation, and the Purist Nation factors very heavily into to various topics. And the Purist Nation is an amalgamation. It's basically like it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and several others that some.
Yeah, it's not just Abrahamic. It's
all
many
it's all
religions.
Buddhism, because in the Siglerverse, one person, Mr. Mason, cherry-picked all of the things from all the religions. He's like, well, this works on people. I can incorporate this into my own religion, and I will have massive power over these people. And in the Siglerverse, it worked extraordinarily well, and now there are 4 planets and 1 space station, all from that. So that is what Anne is talking about, is religions in general do follow this persecution complex.
So I have a question.
Shoot.
Was Mr. Mason P.T. Barnum or Dale Carnegie? Was he literally just grabbing things that would captivate people's minds?
That's a good question. I think I have to give that some thought and learn more about those people to see if that is accurate. But he was, who was the Waco shootings? Who was that?
David Koresh.
He's more of a David Koresh type
or
character.
like a Jim Jones.
A Jim Jones.
Okay,
He's
fair enough.
He has.
I actually like that a lot better. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I like that a lot better for somebody being mostly about themselves and not about the flock, so to speak. And that makes me feel a lot better. That he's more David Koresh than he is.
He's a malignant narcissist, and he doesn't care about anything other than what's going to give him power, sex, money, all of these things. So he cherry-picked all of these different elements, because all the religions got some really good stuff in them. He said, I'm going to take that, I'm going to take that, give me 2 of those, give me 6 of those, give me a box of those naked lady tees,
give
put
me
it
14,
together.
I love it.
Exactly. So that is the first point. Let us move on to, Joe Schaefer is responding. Scott Sigler, it's not, I couldn't hear a nose breathing. But remember, we're right here in the monitors, so I hear things that not everybody else hears. But see, that means Joe's absolved you. It's me, it's not you, baby.
It means that
It's not you.
You're overly focused on me.
100%, 24/7, every goddamn day of the week. All right. Move on to number 2. This is chapter 7. The point of view character is Nitzan Shamdi. No spoilers.
So we're sure no spoilers here?
I'm sure.
Okay.
The first paragraph is context, and then I will tell you when the highlighted part comes in. Up and down the tram's 4 cars, men and women stepped out, duffel bags slung over their shoulders. Raiders in fatigues, including the blue-skinned Radulski. Sailors in dress whites or service grays. 2 men in BII black. No striker pilots or crew, which wasn't a surprise considering frigates like Ishii didn't carry voidcraft. This is the highlighted section, and I'm fucking delighted this is the highlight section, I'm not going to lie. 5 of those people, Shamdi included, were handcuffed and accompanied by a lashed MP. Spec 1 Raider, Mafi. So big, John wondered if he could fit in the standard armor. Red-haired Spec 3 medic Watson, whose darting eyes made John think she might be a druggie. Spec 3 Raider Taylor, a crawler text insignia on her collar. Warrant Officer Bang, a smiling, sunglasses-wearing Raider pilot so casually confident she made her handcuffs seem like a fashion choice rather than restraints. Done. I was wrong. That is John Bennett is the character. It's not Shamdi.
Yeah.
But I'm delighted by that because I read this as that last paragraph is the one that has been highlighted more than any other because I am absolutely channeling my Stephen King obsession as a creator, as a technician. And Stephen King was always my idol when I was a teenager and 20-something because of his ability to take one physical mannerism and one verbal tick and make a character jump off the page and you will never forget them. That's one of the things he's just the best at. So this whole paragraph, I'm introducing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters in one relatively short paragraph.
Yeah.
But I've already gotten into your subconscious and you know who these people are. So the next time I mention the word Watson and then I'll mention red hair or, she's a medic. You've already got an impression. I'm happy because that's high-level storytelling. I think that's why people highlight it.
For sure. And I will say this is so interesting for me as not the author and kind of inside baseball a little bit, the sausage part of this. Two of those people, and I'm only going to tell you one of those, but two of those people are very, very, very dear to me. And Radowski is my dad.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Radowski is my dad. So it's super fun that for me, what happens is I hear his name and kludge in everything I know about my dad. And then changing that to make him a character is very exciting to me. And there's one other person in that who is a very dear friend of mine. And both of those are kind of wonderful moments for me where they are shifted from the person I live and breathe with every day of my life and love every day of my life to these characters. And that actually helps me if things don't go well for some of these characters, so to speak.
All right. So now we've used a hot button issue to force your brain to take one side or the other or agree completely. And at that point, that's the other than what Anne Lamprey does to her captive, which I'm not going to spoil. It's rough, dude. It's rough. But other than that, like at that point, she's a person with a certain psychological mindset, right? This is what she does, but it's her view on religion that makes her pop, that makes her become real, which makes what she does far more horrifying because now she's a real person doing these awful things. We've done that. We did a chapter on technique, which I would like to think people are like, that was dope, dude. You did 5 characters in one paragraph. Love it. Now we move into potty humor.
I'm here for it, though.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is pop culture reference humor. Here we go. This is chapter 13 of the Crypt Shakedown, where Susanna sees the protuberance for the first time. Susanna Rossi sees the protuberance. The protuberance is a bit like the yoke, the control yoke or the joystick of the PV James Keeling. It is the thing that allows Keeling to enter into another dimension where it basically becomes a submarine space. Go in this dimension, undetectable, pop back out in another dimension, and commence with the mission. Jen Hathorne is an experienced crew member, and Susanna Rossi is brand new to the ship. Hathorne, ensign. See that thing that looks like a diseased demon dick? Susanna had no idea what a diseased demon dick might look like, but she got the idea. I see it. Especially don't touch that, Hathorne said. That's the protuberance. It controls everything. Now begins the section that is highlighted. Keep your mitts off it, unless you want to end up like Pete. Susanna says, who is Pete, sir? Hathorne. Pete ain't around no more. You took his place. I think that is the end of it. I think that is because Pete ain't around no more is a line lift from The Godfather.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's why people our age highlighted it.
Yeah, I think that's true. Absolutely. I also think that this is a moment where we learn the Crypt isn't exactly what you might call a regulation Navy ship of any ilk. And that's one of those moments. Obviously, there are others. The Spanus is one. All of that stuff is one. Excuse me. But I do agree with you. I think that people might have felt, oh, that sounds familiar. Where's that from? Which I do a lot in songs and books and stuff like that. And especially with mixtape. Mixtape has a lot of that in it for me.
Slay has an absolute ton. There's a significant portion of Slay that is literally lines from movies. I just put them in with Link and Billy and Magda saying those lines, and it comes out pretty fun. All right,
I love those bitches.
We're moving on to chapter 15. This is John Bennett's take on superior officers. I will let you know. For context, I'll give you an intro, then I will let you know when the highlighted part begins. And he's referring to Lieutenant Lindros, who is the platoon commander for the platoon of Raiders, which is an analog to Marines, that is aboard the PV James Killing. While Lindros hadn't said as much, John could tell the lieutenant was unblooded. The combat vets, like Sergeant Jordan, thought that was a bad sign. John, though, knew an inexperienced commanding officer wasn't always a bad thing. He had served under green LTs who'd flourished, and also, begin highlighted section, those who had seen battle but couldn't find their own butthole if they had an extra hand with 6 fingers on it. End. That's the potty humor. That's the so we've covered a whole bunch of shit right there. That is what the 4th most highlighted part. So
So we do have a question in the chat room from Recluse Mage. They ask, why did you call it the protuberance?
Because protuberance is it sounds naughty. Like the projection, the outcropping, the bulge. It could use the bulge, but the protuberance, because when in the book, Hathorn says, you see that thing that looks like a diseased demon dick? That's what it looks like. It is not technological. It looks like molten glass art formed by someone who's very, very disturbed. It is meant to be disturbing, is meant to be the kind of thing you don't want to touch, period. But you have to touch it to control the ship in general. So that's why.
And I will also say that protuberance, a 4-syllable word, catches in your mind in the right way. Scott always talks about speed bumps. He doesn't want you to catch on a turn of phrase or something where you don't quite understand what he means and have that pull you out of the story. But protuberance, in line, in story, that it makes sense to you, actually does the opposite. It sort of fish hooks you in to be like, now I need to understand what a protuberance is. Come on, man. But before we move on to the next things, we do have to take a quick break. If you have a minute, listen to any ads that pop up. There are only 1 or 2. It really helps the show, and we will be back right after this.
Okay. Joe, I'm going to bring up that question as soon as we come back. Remember, all the stuff you guys are seeing now gets cut out for the podcast, and the podcast gets significantly more views than this. Do you know the name of Rebecca's show? Does she have a show? Is it just Rebecca Watson's thing?
Rebecca Watson's.
Talk again.
Rebecca Watson's Skeptic.
Okay, I've been having issues with this. Okay. Okay, we're going to come back. I want to talk about Chris Grawl. Goddammit, don't start with me. Fuck, now I lost it. Shit. Oh, okay. Ready? Tell me when we're ready to come back.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
It's just Rebecca Watson.
Okay, got it. Here we go. And you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we are back.
This episode, we are talking about the most highlighted sections of the Crypt Shakedown ebook.
And want to touch briefly on protuberance, which is the thing we were talking about before we went to the break. And a very good friend of mine, Rebecca Watson, who does a lot of skeptic debunking work, pro-science work on her own YouTube channel. I was at an event with her. We were playing poker with 2 other people, and she explained to me, in the context of conversation, that 7 is a much funnier number punchline than 8 or 6. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? How can one number be funnier than others? And she's like, because it has 2 syllables. And 1-syllable words have all these other different synonyms. But the more syllables you have, the less likely it is for that word to be misinterpreted as something else. So if the protuberance was instead, oh, that's the yolk. See, the thing looks like a diseased demon dick? It's the yolk. Like, it doesn't resonate. It doesn't stick. But that's the protuberance. You as the reader lock that shit in, and now it becomes its own little mini character in the show. So I have Rebecca Watson to thank for that right there.
Rebecca Watson is also known as the Skep Chick. You can Google her and find her Patreon, her YouTube, her all the things.
I'm just going to keep moving.
That's okay.
Steve, cut this out. There's a broken wire somewhere, so
Okay.
you just keep doing your thing, and I'll adjust it. As that's not you at all.
I'm going to keep my hands here.
That sounds good. Joe Schaefer in the Joe Schaefer in the chat room asks, is this the same ship that Killian flew on? Is the Keeling the same ship that Killian Carbonaro, father of Quentin Barnes, flew on? And the answer is yes. I'm afraid that's a little bit of a spoiler for those of you who have not read the Galactic Football League series. But Killian Carbonaro is literally on the Keeling. And you are not only going to get a dip into the broader, extensive, ridiculously detailed connections in the Siglerverse in GFL Book 7, which I'm working on right now, the final draft, but also in VOIDSTRIKE, the Crypt Book 2. So that is where we are at. Okay, moving down. So we're going to the chats here. All right, here we go. Now, chapter 24. Back to Susanna Rossi. This one is very fun because
favorite character in the Crypt.
I am a science-minded individual. My own personal religious beliefs. I am an atheist, and I believe that science has given humanity far more than anything else has. So there's a little bit of me in this, but this isn't a political take. I think this was highlighted because, if I may flatter myself, if I may be so bold as to assume people are thinking, that this is a really cool shorthanded way to summarize to non-scientific people what science really does. So here we go. Yeah, go ahead.
No, read it. I'll say it after.
This I will tell you when the highlighted section begins. This earlier section is for context. Hasek sat on his cot. He looked exhausted, mentally, physically, and spiritually. The brain is a complex structure, he said. Scientists have been studying it since the 17th century. After almost 1,000 years of research, we still don't fully understand how memories are stored or how the imagination works. Shifting between membranes, which is different dimensions, shakes those processes up, but with inconsistent effects. Some people have repeating visions. Some have a different vision every time. Some hallucinate once, then never again. Some feel no effect for the first 5, 6, or even 7 transdim trips. Then they suffer one so bad they have to be restrained before they kill someone or kill themselves. Susanna saw his anguish, his exasperation, and she felt for him. This begins the highlighted section. Consistency of observation was the cornerstone of science. If you do A, then B, C happens. Figuring out which specific A and B were needed to make reproducible C was always the goal. That is the end. Good night, Matthew. That is the end of that's the end of the highlighted section.
So I think.
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Try now.
Oh, there we go. I think a lot of you guys know this. If you don't, I am a trained chemist. I studied medicinal chemistry in college. I worked as a medicinal chemist. I was a clinical researcher. I did lots and lots and lots and lots of how drugs work in the body research before I ever met Scott. And I will say that that description for me is so integral to the Crypt, because any scientist.
Wait a minute. Just give a second. Try that.
Any scientist who has been trained in the scientific method.
Hold on a second, guys. This is how the sausage is made for sure. Let me unplug here. It's very noisy. Hold tight.
Sorry.
Try that, and then we'll go to one mic.
Great. Any scientist that has been trained in the scientific method, which you get trained in when you go to school for science, absolutely wants this. If I do A, then B, C develops. If I do A and B 2 times and C develops, and then I do it a 3rd time and it doesn't develop, I am going to have to change my experiment.
Okay. We're having some technical difficulties with A's mic. So A is going to try and lean into my mic here. We'll bring them close together. And I'm going to take the bulk of the reading from here so we can finish the episode.
Should we just unplug that and share that mic?
That's what I just said.
But you said lean in and then you moved it. Should we unplug this?
That's fine. Sounds good. All right, get your cute ass over here and adjust. Perfect. Can you adjust that screen? I think just get it centered. Love it. You look good. God damn it. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, here we go. Let's get...
Wait, no, it's me. It's me. So the interesting thing about this is what I did for the first of my career before I met Scott and became a publisher. I did exactly this. I was like, okay, yeah, we absolutely have to repeat that until we have consistency. So this is so interesting because my brain would have gone to mush if transdim existed in my scientific career.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. I'm going to move this to get you because I'm louder, so you can just come up right up there.
Okay.
Put your pretty mouth right in that mic. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. So next one. Here we go. This is chapter 30. Sasha Kirchhoff, who's the engineering head on the ship, and Travis Ellis, who is the what is this? What is his position?
Isn't he the captain?
No, he's the second in command.
Oh, right now he is. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry, I've forgotten what second in command is in naval terms. Here we go. Chapter 30. This is Sasha and Travis talking. Exo. Thank you, Sean Dyer.
Yeah, thank you.
Talking politics. Trav shrugged. Gillick and Daniels are trying to be best pals with everyone. Maybe your experienced people are waiting things out, getting a gauge of what gets who into trouble. Sasha sighed, beginning the highlighted section. Sasha sighed. Gillick and Daniels. How anyone can't see their disingenuous con men is beyond me. This is Travis now. If people could identify con men, politicians wouldn't get votes. People believe what they want to believe long before they'll accept what's real.
Hello, 2026.
It's not that the thing is, though, remember, this was written. When did I write this, Sugar?
I believe you wrote this in 2019.
2019. That's not a 2026. That people believe what they want to believe long before they'll accept what is real is the human condition. Human beings have been manipulated by leaders since the Stone Age, since before the Stone Age. So this concept that right now we as Americans are going through something novel and new is absolutely not true. It is not difficult to manipulate human beings. It is not difficult to con people. In fact, the only thing that stops some people from conning the shit out of everyone is that they have morals, they have ethics, and they actually care about other people. They care about other people's success and happiness. If you don't care about those things and you want to predate on other humans, it's fucking ridiculously easy. And that's what Travis is talking about there. As a frontline service member, he's out there risking his ass 24/7. And part of that is he may get sent to fight in a place that he personally doesn't think that we should be fighting in at all, but he's going to go because he took his oath and that's his job. He's going to go do his job. He's going to do everything he can to protect the people around him. And he's going to go fight where he's told to go fight. That's how the system works. So in this case, Gillick and Daniels are basically secret police, which we're now getting new experiences with here in America. They're secret police whose job is to try and find out who is not towing the party line, who's a disbeliever, so that they can isolate these people, get them out of the system, and go persecute them somewhere else, so that make sure there's no rats in the grain bin, so to speak. And Travis can see that, and he's like, dude, listen, all of you smart people, I know there's 17, 18, and 19. The smart kids understand what the fuck they're doing. That's why they won't talk to these guys. So
yeah, exactly. And that is the way that grace and kindness works. It will always show up in darkness.
So now, chapter 37. I did not invent this at all, you guys. This is a hat tip to some of the codified one-liners that people in the military have that I've heard many times from my friends who have actually served. This is Sergeant Renee Jordan, who is the platoon XO for the Raiders. And this is from the point of view of John Bennett, who's our 48-year-old grunt who has lied his way. He's lied to keep from being promoted so he can stay on the front line because he just likes doing what he does, and he keeps re-upping. So Sui Jun is a character in the platoon. "Hey, Sarge," Sui Jun said. "What's the mission? You gotta know, right?" June was one of the 6 unblooded Spec 1s in the squad. Good with tash maneuvering and a steady shot, she showed real promise. This begins the highlighted section. "Hell if I know," Jordan said. "I'm on the mushroom diet, just like you guys." A mushroom, kept in the dark and fed shit.
Okay, the only thing I have to add right here is for a while in high school, my brother and I, my whole family lived in Vancouver, Washington. Vancouver, Washington is on the Columbia River, right across the river from Portland, Oregon. And there was a mushroom farm. And if you are unfamiliar with how mushroom farms work, it is exactly that. It is very, very dark. There's big pole barns that are made very dark and lots of mushrooms and manure to grow the mushrooms. And you can smell that shit literally for like a 10-mile radius. It's oppressive.
And that is a classic trope in the military world that grunts of all stripes, all services, all nations, and probably all ages since mushrooms started being farmed have said, like, dude, I'm just, you know what? I'm kept in the dark and fed shit. I don't know what's going on. So that is, Chris Grell says, the Sunte Raiders had a mushroom as their logo. Chris, in the chat room, while I move to the next one, tell us who the Sunte Raiders were. All right. 3 more left. Chapter 42. The Rule of Kindness, from Nitzan Shamdi, who's a point of view character. And I have a note here that says, I don't know where I got this. I just know I didn't come up with this. Here we go. So this is beginning the context. A quarter of the dessert had already been served up, but what remained was still a masterpiece. 3 layers of vanilla cake, separated by and topped with icing as black as the void. Candy stars dotted the surface and the sides. A milk chocolate keeling, now half gone, fired orange frosting torpedoes at a fondant probe. "That's brilliant," Beaver yelled. "You're like an art genius, combat cook." Here's the highlighted section. On any ship, in any fleet, anywhere in the galaxy, there was one unified guiding principle. Be nice to the cooks. That ends the highlighted section, and I'll continue for context. Beaver might have shown just as much enthusiasm had the cake been made of broken glass, greased up in goose shit and sprinkled with minced tapeworm, but in this case, the sentiment was true.
I have to add that if you have ever worked in the service industry, it's not just cooks on ships. It's cooks in restaurants. It's cooks on food trucks. Be nice to the cooks, because the cooks can kill you, but they'd get in trouble for that. But they can make your weekend shit. Literally. And I have actually, I grew up in restaurants and bartending and whatever all through college and stuff. And all of that you always be nice to the cook. Now listen, if you are a person who eats food you don't cook in your house or your cafeteria or your college or whatever, be nice to the cooks. Be nice to the cooks.
And this resonated with me when I heard from someone. It's probably Bradley Henry, who is a big fan of my work and is the combat cook and has been involved in Siglerism from way back in the day. And I think he did his 20 in the Navy.
Brad Henry is no longer with us.
No, that's not true.
That's true.
No, I'm texting with him on the regular. You got the wrong guy.
Binge or
No.
Gordy?
Bradley Henry.
Okay.
Okay. Steve, cut that difficulty out. But this is where I got the term combat cook, which I'm sure many cooks in the Navy, in the Army, have that concept. But this resonated with me because when I was a young man, when I was a boy, my dad was a high school football coach and a teacher. And I would often go into school with him earlier, go on errands with him. And when he would walk into the office of the high school where he was a football coach, and that's a rock star in small town Michigan, he was the nicest guy to all of the secretaries. And this was back in a day when a high school of about 800 people had probably 10 to 12 secretaries in the principal office area at any given time. It was just an enormous amount of work to do. And everything was please and thank you. Everything was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, everything. And we left one day, and when I realized my dad walked into the room, everybody lit up. It was like, "Oh, coach, how are you?" And he was like, "Hey, I know this is, can you knock this out for me?" And like, "I'll take care of that right away." And dad left, and he stopped me. He said, he's like, "Here's the thing. Always be nice to the secretaries, because the secretaries are the people who actually get shit done. So if you need something done to do your job, these are the people you ask. Respect them, be nice to them." And I think it's very similar to the whole cook concept. So that always resonated with me and has permeated every aspect of my life. Like my wife was just saying, the service line people who do this stuff that some people would think is unimportant, they are the people who get the shit done. Be nice to them and respect them, because they're going to help you do your job or help you get that thing that you need done. And when they come to you, you help them. Simple.
And I have to say, you guys have heard us talk about this, so I'm just going to ask Scott, do you, I do most of the cooking in our house, and do you like it?
Do I like your cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yes, dude. I love it.
Do you talk about that when I'm not around?
Absolutely. Constantly.
So here's the interesting thing. I have been a bartender, a waitress, a busboy, and a short line cook in my career in my 20s when I was still in college. And I will say this, people who were very, very nice to me, they definitely got more seasoning. They did. Because I got to do whatever I wanted on that line. I had to make the recipe, but I could put, a sprinkle of garlic, or I could put the right amount of garlic.
Paul Carlson in the chat room says, "My grandfather was a cook in the Navy in World War II on a coastal schooner in New Caledonia and was sunk twice. Pretty sure he cooked for Adam Bull Halsey after transferring to the base." That's amazing. Paul, I know it's the same guy. I might have read about him in one of the books that I have researched for the Crypt. Chris Grawl said, hold on. Recluse Mage says, "They gave us a cook when we deployed, but had nothing but MREs for food, so we put them up in the turret as a gunner."
Yep. And I will say this, I love to cook. It's my hobby. It's also my, part of my job here in this house, all of that. But I learned to cook from my granddad. And my grandpa was a cook in the Navy. And I had to adjust a handful of recipes so that they would only serve maybe 4 people instead of 45 people. And I still haven't gotten the biscuits and gravy recipe right, but I'm working on it because I want to do that before I die, because it's my brother's favorite dish that my grandpa made. So I want to be able to make it for just a few people.
Okay, we only have 2 left for you. These are both mine, and the fact that they got highlighted pleases me to the nth degree, because I put an enormous amount of work into getting these 2 particular lines just right. Because when you do what I do, and the people who read my stuff also read hundreds of other books, if not thousands of other books, and there's very few moments where you get to step up and stand out and make people go, "Holy shit, that's pretty fucking good." I think these 2 things are that. Chapter 55. This is from, I believe, the perspective of John Bennett. They're in combat. First, the context, and then I'll tell you when we start. 2 impacts slammed the hull. Everything shook and shuddered in a brief but terrifying rattling sound. Begin the highlighted section. Out in space, combat was silent. Inside a ship, death made plenty of noise. End the section. Because that whole, in space, no one can hear you scream. And I think I also came up with this line. This is from another book, but in space, no one can hear you scream, but inside a ship, they can hear you just fine. If you still got atmosphere, they can hear you crying and begging and dying.
Well, right. In space, No one outside your vessel can hear you scream. Also true of the submersible, the Titan submersible. Those motherfuckers were screaming all the way down, but we'll never know because we can't.
And the final one is another one of mine. And this is again through the point of view of John Bennett, who probably percolates up as my favorite character in this series, except for Beaver. Beaver is absolutely the best fucking character in this series. Chapter 57, John Bennett is in the middle of a firefight. And this is what he says. This whole thing is highlighted. John Bennett stayed calm because next to being lucky, staying calm was the best way to stay alive. And this I have gathered from Chris Grawl, who's in the chat room, and Jeff Rappelgee, who is represented in my book Warpath, which will be out towards the end of 2026. The people I have talked to who have actually done combat, and then of course, pop culture and reading copious amounts of books about people in combat. One of the strangest things is the simplicity of understanding that you are in a very bad situation, and at any second, a shot from someone you will never see could end your life. Staying cool, staying calm, and doing the best you can with your training the situation is literally the best way to remain alive, because once you get fired up, and once you panic and start doing weird things outside of your training, that could get you killed.
But also, there are, like, you do things outside of your training because of your emotions, and that is what they were trying to train out of you. Like, don't be emotional. Like, do the thing that will get you through this difficult moment, and then crash out. Crash out once you're safe on the surface, crash out once you're safe on Earth, whatever it is, do that. And that's really hard to do sometimes as a human.
And it's interesting to me as someone who's not served, because the majority of this training, of course, if you're getting trained how to use a SAM system or a bazooka, that's relatively new stuff. We're talking like 75, 80 years. But I believe that an enormous amount of the foundational instruction for soldiers, sailors, etc., is shit that has been true from the Roman times, the Phoenician times. There is so much as like, if you just calm down and do what we told you to do, your chances of survival are drastically higher than if you flip out and do something else.
And I will also add, as somebody who is also not served, but is a brat, that actually works in my life too, in business. One of the best pieces of business advice I ever got was consider the problem you're trying to solve. What is the problem you're trying to solve? So if you get all bent out of shape because somebody's not following protocol, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Are you trying to make sure everybody stays safe and stay alive? Or are you mad about them not following protocol? And it actually does the thing where it calms you down and says, the problem I'm trying to solve is I want to live through this. I want to get out of this meeting. And it works. And I think that also is what happens when people who have been trained minutely to seconds of what they should do in an action, if they follow their training, they are solving the problem they're supposed to solve.
Yeah. Paul Carlson in the chat room says, slow is steady, steady is fast. And Paul, one of my firearms instructors, added a line to this. He said, slow is steady, steady is fast, fast is final, which kind of leverages on to be like, if you calm down and get the first shot off, odds are you're going to be the one that walks out of that. But you can't rush it, right? You got to be slow and steady. That is it for this episode of Deep Cuts.
Next week, we will be hosting a pre-launch party for Crypt VOIDSTRIKE, you guys. It's going to be so fun. We would love if any of you want to send your favorite parts or your favorite moments or your favorite lines from Crypt Shakedown for a chance to win Crypt merch next week. So next week during the live stream, we are going to be giving away anywhere in the world each of our Crypt merchandise that's available at scottsigler.com/store. If you do that and then you search for Crypt, I think there's 6 things. I'm not quite sure how many there are. 7 things. Mm-hmm. We're going to be giving away one of each of those. The way you win that is you send in a line from Crypt Shakedown or a moment from Crypt Shakedown that mattered to you and was important to you. And then we're going to roll a 20-sided die to figure out who gets all of those prizes. So please join us next week for that. And please send in your favorite parts of Shakedown.
That is correct. So send your favorite parts of Shakedown, the Crypt Book 1, to info@emptyset.com. And we're just going to read them off. I may have to truncate them because some of you guys are wordy motherfuckers. I don't understand how people can write a whole bunch of stuff to say one simple concept. It's ridiculous.
You can't understand how some people are wordy motherfuckers?
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Can you say that again for me?
I can't understand how some people are wordy motherfuckers. It's simple. It's a couple of words and in order to make a sentence. It's not complicated. You have to make things girthy or whatever, turgid. All right, a couple things from the chat before we go. Chris Grawl says, B-17 gunners were trained to be monotone and precise during combat because yelling and panic is contagious. Asian Prince says, where can I pre-order Crypt 2? scottsigler.com/VOIDSTRIKE, VOIDSTRIKE. At the time of this recording, the audiobook read by Ray Porter and the ebook, the Kindle version, are available. The print book is not yet available, but will be soon. And Nick, Just Another Geek, says, is the Lego ship still available? Not only is it available, because the plans from scottsigler.com/store are free. We don't charge for the plans. We don't sell the Lego pieces, but the creator of the Lego pieces and the whole model is in the chat room right now. Chris Grawl is in the chat room. Not only created the full-sized Crypt model, which is almost 2 feet long, it's glorious, but also the Funko Pop little version. And he made all those things. So at scottsigler.com/store, search for Keeling. You'll find 2 Lego models. The plans are free. Download them, have at them. And there's also a link for you to order the specific parts you need to build it from another vendor, which is not us.
So that is it for us. If you have anything you'd like to say to us, please email info@emptyset. And
you know what? That's it for us. We want to let you know, y'all smell an awful lot like flowers. Goodbye. Good job.
I'm going to pull this over now.
Yeah, sorry about that, dude. I thought I had fixed it.
Yeah,
but
I don't know what it is either.
it's a weird because it just.
Did you turn this off or not? Can you guys hear me?
If you tap it like that, it makes this whole unit ring. So that's why I was trying to get your hands off the table too, which is hard to do when you're leaning back and forth for sure.
I did that. I did that.
We'll figure out what's going on the mic. Actually, what I think it is, hang out because we stopped recording. We're going to chit chat for a little bit. Recluse Mage, I don't think it's a mic. I bought a used preamp, the WA273 EQ, phenomenal unit from Warm Audio. Love it, except when occasionally it's 2 channels, which is important for us. Analog, great stuff, but I bought it used. And the EQ switch on my side sometimes will get sticky and make this crackling noise, and I have to punch it in, punch it out. And now A's channel is starting to go. So what I have to do is discuss with my business partner whether we're going to spend $1,200 on a replacement new unit. So when it starts to do shit like this, I can call the manufacturer and say, motherfucker, you better fix this problem. I'm going to come and see you in Topeka. You want me to come to Topeka? I don't think you want me to come to Topeka. But
Topeka is nice a lot of the year.
It's not going to be nice when I get there. Oh, that's a good line. Shit, I got to write that down. That's fucking solid. So we have a small equipment issue, which I will try to fix, but I will tell you more about that later.
Of course.
It's not the mic. It's I believe it is the preamp getting too warm or overloaded. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. That was really fun. I'm glad this worked out. What do you think, babe?
Yeah, we had a couple of people mention that this would be fun for other stories too. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. It has been really exciting for us. It's been fun for us to sort of know that's a thing and know what resonated, because it's since the book came out. So it's a ton of time. So we get to see people kind of enjoying it through many seasons. And that resonates too, because of course, the longer people resonate with it and the longer data set that we have, the more just, trying to get up and do your life every day that we get from that, that these are people who are enjoying Scott's work, and just whatever their job is, whatever their day is, whatever their thing is, these are the things that kind of catch in their brain. And that for a creator is a very useful thing. It's been very exciting. It's really, really, really nice.
Chris Grawl in the chat room says, nobody wants their protuberance to fail. Good callback, very solid, and absolutely true. Joe Schaefer in the chat room says, sorry for an off-topic question, but I'm about to finish the Infected trilogy and was wondering if you plan to voice Pandemic in the future. Now, it's a good question because right now, A is in the process of re-recording Alive and Alight in the Generations trilogy. She's already done Alone, the third book, but for 10 years now, I've been very unhappy with the performance in books 1 and 2. So A is in the process of replacing those. Pandemic, of course, is the third book in the Infected trilogy. I voiced Infected and Contagious. And one of our early moments together working as a business team was Pandemic is a huge book. Like if I record this, it's 2 or maybe 3 weeks in the booth, then all of our editing. And we went out and got a gentleman who was a lovely voice gentleman who turns out to have made some bad choices in life. But at any rate, I don't see myself re-recording that anytime soon because I don't want to give it those 3 weeks when I could be making new stuff for you guys.
And I will say, Pandemic is also part of a contract that we hold with a publisher. So that would also have to be negotiated. So it would be quite a lot of work and we would almost assuredly have to buy those rights back. And we might not do that because we should be making new stuff for you. Scott has like 8 novels that he wants to put out into the world, and going back to Pandemic is probably not the right choice there.
If it was going to happen, it would at least be 3 to 4 years away, and A and I would have to be rolling naked in vats of money to be like, you know what, I'm gonna take 3 weeks and re-record this. Then have Steve the Iceberg Ricky Berg edit it, then put it back up through the ACX. It's a whole process. It's doable. But I've got, how many more GFL books to write now? 7, 8, 9. Got 3 more GFL books, 3 more Crypt books, and 4 more Slay books.
Yeah.
That's 11. So. I'm out of fingers. Chris Grawl says Warpath 5. I don't like Chris Grawl. I never have. I never liked him. It's a fact.
Chris Grawl?
Yeah. He wants
How
Warpath,
dare you.
Warpath Part 5. No!
I love him.
Also, you guys, this will be a whole separate issue. About a year after Warpath comes out, we're going to do a whole episode on what it was like to write Warpath. And it's not pretty. And I'm not going to mention it right now. Not before the book comes out.
And the likelihood of that being a series?
0 is absolutely 0. I mean, if they want to they want to clean a dump truck very well, scrub it out, and then fill it full of 20s. I don't know how many 20s will fit in a dump truck. Fill it full of 20s and then back it up to my condo where I'll be waiting with my whole body covered in Vaseline and one pink jock strap on. And then I will dive like Scrooge McDuck, dive into that dump truck full of 20s, and I will swim and flail and get it all. Then they will lift up the bed and all the 20s and my Vaseline money-covered body will slide out and I get to keep all that money. That is how I'll write Warpath 2. That's what it's going to take.
I'm so sorry. That is how he will consider an offer for Warpath 2.
All right. You guys are fantastic. I'm going to go do my post-show stuff, and then I'm going to have a scotch, and I think I'm going to go play some Fortnite.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, we'll be back next week. We're doing a pre-launch party. I want to remind you guys who are still listening again, please send in something about Crypt Shakedown, what you liked about it, because all of those
Just
emails.
your favorite part. Whatever your favorite part was, send it to us.
Or any, that you loved it in general. Also, any of those emails will go into our 20-sided Die of Doom. Dice of Doom. I'm not sure if die is plural.
Die of Doom.
Die of Doom?
Die of Doom.
It's dice, though, right?
Yeah,
Or dice is plural.
Die of Doom is 3 syllables, and it's very, like, go back to Rebecca Watson. So when you go Dice of Doom, you're going from a soft consonant into a soft consonant.
Listen, I'm just listening to Sean, who knows everything.
Doom.
And Sean says die is singular. So Die of Doom.
Then we have
a 20-sided Die of Doom, and we are going to give away anywhere in the world if you send in your favorite part of Shakedown.
Yeah.
We're going to roll that dice.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
We're going to roll that die next week live during Deep Cuts, and we are going to give away 7 items, Crypt items, to celebrate that. The Tuesday after that, Void Strike comes out.
Yep. And right now I'm going to go do my post. Then I'm going to put on my pink jockstrap.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to slather myself up with Vaseline and I'm
None of
going to
this.
dream.
None of this.
I'm going to dream of a dump truck full of 20s. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to try and take off my month-old nail polish.
All right, you guys, you rock. We will see you next week. And we love that you spend this time with us. We love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.